Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to today's class. Please do confirm you can still hear me and see my screen. All right, thank you. So today we'll be looking at a new topic. It is a very important and well, honestly, it's one of the most powerful tool in our UX toolkit. So we'll be looking at design heuristic evaluation. So today is going to be the part one of it. It's a very huge topic. So today we'll look at the part one of it. So don't let the name scare you. It's basically a design health check. So I would say it is. It's like taking your product to the UX doctor for a quick diagnose. So let's look at what we will learn today. So we will learn what is heuristic evaluation, why heuristic evaluation matters, when to conduct this heuristic evaluation, and its application in design. So the first question we'll be looking at, what is this heuristic evaluation? What is it? So basically, it's an inspection method of solving problems by finding ways of dealing with them by learning previous experience. So it's a usability inspection method. That, well, we could say that we are checking if the design actually works well for users. It could be in terms of product interface. It could be in terms of why use a set of best, why we use set of best practices. And we could also check if this thing is user friendly or not. So I brought out some keynotes here. Heuristic are best practices that makes products more user friendly. And secondly, experts use heuristic to quickly identify usability issues that could hinder users. And this method is especially effective when evaluations need to be done efficiently and under time constraints. So just like how we check if our food is good before eating it, how does it smell well? Is it fresh? Is it cooked? So we actually don't need to be a master chef to spot spoiled food. So same with heuristic evaluations. We are not waiting for users to complain. We need to sort or spot the obvious problems before we even get there. So let's look at why heuristic evaluation matters. So number one, we catch common design mistakes early when we evaluate. We check the design critically like professional UX detectives, and we improve usability, accessibility, efficiency to make users feel happy. So we prioritize issues based on how much they affect the users. And we also give clear recommendations for improvements. And the best part is we design, develop, and the product team works better together. So we can say that heuristics are basically rules of thumb or UX cheat codes, which helps us or which make sure that users don't range or quit our app. They don't quit our app on easily. They find what they wanted and how they navigate the system. It's easy. So let's imagine you are designing a flight booking app and you forgot to show the loader spinner after the user pressed pay now. So the user is now sitting there sweating and wondering, oh, did it go through or did I did I just book 5 flights by accident? So when we do heuristic evaluation, it helps check what could have caused that issue early. So let's look at when to conduct this heuristic evaluation. So this method can be used for any existing products. That's the one that's already live, on prototypes or beta, and that early stage and before release, and on wireframes, even before the UI is fully built. Okay, so think of it that when you do this, that you are saving the products from the angry customers, or the angry customer 1-star review apocalypse. You know, these are customers that they will just enter your app Play Store, they will just give 1 star, and then they will talk trash about the application. So things like this happen because there was no evaluation, there was no holistic evaluation. So when we do this evaluation, we tend to kick against and also truncate this type of review. So let's look at the practical applications of these principles in design. So in UX design, certain universal principles helps create interfaces that are intrusive, efficient, and user-friendly. So we have Jacob Nielsen, a leading usability expert. He introduced 10 heuristics that serves as practical guidelines for evaluating and improving the usability of any product. So this man, Jacob Nielsen, is a UX legend himself. So he's a kind of, let's say, a Yoda of usability. So he came up with 10 simple, powerful heuristic that guides us in checking for intuition, efficiency, friendliness, and maybe also error handling, and a lot more. So let's look at these principles. So listed here are the principles. We have visibility of system status. We have match between system and the real world. We have user control and freedom. We also have consistency and standards. We have error prevention. We have recognition rather than recall. We have flexibility and efficiency of use. We have aesthetic and minimalist design. We have help users recognize, diagnose, and recover from errors. And lastly, we have help and documentation. So we'll take this one after another so that we will understand um, what these principles are and how we can indulge it in our everyday design. So, but first, let's communicate. So looking at this, can anyone guess why it is important, or why it is necessary for us to run heuristic evaluation before user testing? Do we have anybody that can give me or can clearly state why we have to do this evaluation before user testing? Please, you can do that by raise of hand. Let's see. Who knows why we do this? I hope we were all following. All right, Gift, go ahead. Gift, you can unmute and talk. You raised your hand. Can hear you.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Okay, why this
Yeah, good
is important? I think This is important because when you don't run this check on a product, at the end of the day, you find out that what you wanted to design, what you think you've done, is not actually what is out there. So for
Uh,
a product to work perfectly well, you have to run this check. When you run this check, it will help you to know that it actually meets what you really want to put out. And
okay. Goodness, I saw your hand. All right. Okay, Chuku, please go ahead. Okay, Chuku Kalu, please go ahead. We can't hear you. Uh, we can't hear you. So who else? Okay. Let's proceed. So basically, or I will just say the reason why we need to perform these heuristic evaluations is because it will save you a ton of time. It will save you money, and it will also save you from angry users. Because when you actually perform these evaluations, you now see where errors are on your design, and with that, you will actually sort them out and you will solve them before it is being pushed out. So that is the one of the major reasons why you should do this evaluation. All right, let's thank you very much for those that participated. Now let's look at the item one. Number one on our list is visibility of system status. This is one of my favorite principle. Um, it's all so most times I do call it let the system talk for the users like a friend who keeps you updated, not like that particular friend of yours who leaves you on read or for hours. Well, like most of us, most of our friends, they will be online, but they won't respond to you until their heart, well, tells them to do so. So now what do we actually mean by this? Let's look at the definition. So the visibility of system status refers to how well the state of the system is conveyed to its users. So ideally, systems should always keep users informed about what is going on through appropriate feedback within reasonable time. Look at the sentences that I have bold with a different color. So state of system needs to be conveyed to its users. And ideally, systems should always keep users informed about what is going on. And it should be within reasonable time. So basically, when we use any system, whether it's a website, an application, or even an ATM machine, yes, an ATM machine, that particular ATM machine that anytime you want to withdraw money, it will take like 10 minutes, and it will leave you guessing, whether is there cash, is there no cash. Well, yes, that is what we are looking at. Either you are using that. We want users um to always know what is going on inside the system. Okay? So the system should always keep users informed about what is happening with clear and timely feedback. Don't keep users guessing. Don't keep users, oh, so is it my network? What is going on? Most times, if you look at the Zoom interface, so when you are having, oh, you are not getting feedback from persons, or you are feeling that you are not being heard, they will tell you, are you trying to talk? There will be a pop-up, are you trying to talk? Increase the volume. That's number one. Then number two, when your network is unstable, you get to see your network is unstable. Please move to a better location. Things like that. They don't keep users guessing. So that is a very practical application. So now a practical application is number one, shows real-time updates. So example of it can be loading, saving, uploading. You are trying to load something, but you're not seeing the loading icon or nothing is actually loading. So you are guessing, is it loading or is it actually doing what I want it to do? Then use progress bar, indicators, and notifications. So also confirm action. So you are trying to make changes and you're not seeing changes made. So I'll have to now go back to my profile. Let's say I want to update my profile and I just click on update profile and I've not seen any pop-up. I've not seen any memo. And nothing, no toast message or whatsoever is coming up telling me, oh, that has been done. As designers, let's always make use of confirm action. So changes has been saved, this has been deleted, that has been deleted, that has been saved. Things like that will keep users not guessing. So keep feedback relevant and non-intrusive, and also avoid unnecessary system updates that can confuse users. Now let's look at this example. So what is happening here? Can someone tell me what is happening on this particular picture here, this slide? What is happening? Anybody? All right, Carlo, please go ahead.
Okay, it shows that a file is being uploaded. Yeah, showing a file is being uploaded, and at least something is syncing. I can't really tell what exactly. There's something
Oh,
going on there.
okay. All right, Simon, I saw your hand.
Okay, that's the same thing now. He said that he's trying to upload the file and it's taking time. Mm, Like it's slow, maybe.
It's slow.
I don't know, like it's still in 5.
It's still in five, really. What if the screenshot was taken when I just started? And so you just expect
Oh,
it should. Well,
oh,
okay. Anybody else? What is going on? What is happening here? So, anyways, so as not to take much of our time, that is correct. So, so imagine you are uploading your vacation photos to Google Drive. And as soon as you hit the upload button, so you see this sweet animation, this progress bar that is saying, oh, you are singing 5 of your 21 photos into the Google Drive. And well, the process is telling you, oh, that this particular data, where we are seeing this data.csv, that this is the file that is uploading out of this 21, which is the fifth file, that it is 77% of that file that is being uploaded, that is being uploading. So you can now see that this is visibility of system status in action. So the system is politely telling you, hey boss, I'm working on it. I haven't crashed. So everything is under control. So this is basically what this is telling us. So now you can relax. So most times when we see maybe a particular file we're trying to upload is taking more time. So let's assume this particular uploading 77% was not there. And we are just singing 5 of 21. And then it's taking like 5 minutes. You'll be like, what is going on? Has it hanged? Or what is happening to the file? You now check. Maybe you're using internet connection. Be like, oh, as my data finished, you are guessing, you are moving around. But in this process, we have seen that, oh, the designer is now telling us that, oh, wait, everything is under control. So this particular file is just heavy. So we are on the 77% process or progress of uploading this particular file. So just hold on a minute. So it's not crashing, nothing is happening. So this is how we are supposed to make users feel. Okay? Telling them that everything is under control. Now, okay, this is what I just explained now. So you're uploading your vacation photos to put Google as soon as you hit the upload. So it's now telling you, hey boss, I'm working on it. I haven't crashed. Everything is basically under control. Okay? So anytime we are designing a system, we need to make sure that you keep users informed and you give them updates quickly. So show them progress. You can use bar, we have spinners, messages, or whatsoever you feel works for you, or whatsoever fits that particular UI. So, and also this will help users fix errors early if something goes wrong. So we'll not be guessing, is it my internet connection or is it that the flash drive I plugged is not connected, or you are removing it. Imagine you are in 99% of thing uploading and it's taking like 1 hour. So you have to remove it and then put it back. You are guessing. So when once it is telling you, oh, in Windows, what it does, it tells you that this particular file has a problem. Do you want to retry or do you want to cancel it, or what do you want to do? That is a very good user experience. All right. So keynote, a system that talks is a system users will trust. I will not trust a system that will just keep me guessing. So if a system doesn't give me feedback, I will start feeling impatient. I will be frustrated, and then I will even forced to close the app or uninstall it even. So there is a particular application I tried to use online to be streaming live sports. So in the process, it's not loading. I can remember a time that I think just of recent, I can't remember the team that actually played. And there was a goal they scored, and the goal was being cancelled because it was offside. And 5 minutes later, that was when my application now notified me that they have scored a goal. Mumumi, I was outside and now run inside. I was shouting, good, good. I was now like telling them, oh yes, that the network is what is delaying the DSTV they are using to watch, that they have scored goal. I waited like 3 minutes, nothing happened. And they were like, guy, what are you saying? I hope it's not the offside that they blow. That was when I now knew that the application I'm using, that application I'm using is now leading me astray. Imagine I was in where they used to watch ball, like in a huge sit out. Or they will stone that day because look at how excited I was. So what I'm trying to say is this particular experience was not, it was keeping me guessing. I was like, what is happening? Is it that it's a previous goal that they are telling me, or is it that they have not scored the goal, or is it that they are playing a different match? So things like that, when we design, and same with developers, when they do, they have to make sure that it gives us this feedback on time, instead of making us to start guessing and the rest of it. So a system that talks, as system users will trust. So let's look at the second item: match between systems and the real world. Match between systems and the real world. So this one is super relatable. This is where we say we use familiar languages and we use things that are common. Okay, so this is what it means. So let's look at the definition. So systems should speak the user's language with familiar words, phrases, and concepts rather than system-oriented terms. So interfaces should follow real-world conventions and make information appear in a natural and logical order for users. Okay, so let's see. Use languages, concepts, and logic that feels natural and familiar to users. Don't try to use jargons. So practical application is that use friendly languages, not system jargons, and follow real world conventions. Example, calendar layout, shopping carts, etc. Um, present information in logical and familiar order. Use clear icons and visuals that match real objects. You are talking about workouts, but what I'm seeing is somebody dancing. So that is misleading. All right, align the system flow with users' mental models. So now let us look at this. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever used an app or a website and it feels like you needed to hire a translator just to actually understand what was going on in the application? So like let's say you are trying to book a flight and the system says transaction error. Your reservation object has failed to allocate in the booking entity's processing queue. Well, like you'll be like, bro, did my ticket book or not? Because this is actually a jargon. Like, what are you trying to say? Uh, what has happened? Has my ticket gone through, or has it not? Users just want a simple answer. Oh, transaction error. This is what happened, and this is why it happened. This is what is going on. That is what users actually want. So, as designers, we want our system to talk like humans, not like robots from scientific movies. Okay, so use words that make sense to your users, not technical jargons that only developers or backend engineers will understand. So let's look at this real world example. So look at the real world. Most of us, we've used this particular file. We've used this particular folder in real world. And this is what your Microsoft did. This is what your Windows adapts to. This is what your Apple adapts to. So when you open your laptop, then you see folder icons. So that was not a random decision. So Microsoft and Apple, all of them intentionally designed this icon to look like the actual folder from the physical world. So the particular paper we used or the particular folder we used while we were in the local world, not now that all of us are now digital natives. All of us are now using phones, systems, and the rest to even store our our future inside. So before now, we always store our everything. Like most of us, our certificates, everything is being scanned and then is being scanned and then saved online. And these are samples of folders that we use for it. Okay. Okay. So when you open, this is what I just explained. So it's not about making people feel at home. Even It's all about making people feel at home, even when they are using your app for the first time. So you are using an application, and then it looks like something you have used before. It's because it is familiar, like you are familiar with how things are supposed to move and how things are supposed to go. I hope we are following. I hope we are following. Please do signify. Okay, so even Apples still uses things like trash bin, mail envelopes, and calendars that looks just like the real thing, because our brain will immediately we see that. Oh boy. Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ. Okay, please do confirm you can hear me. I think the network pushed me out. And you can also see my screen. Please let me know. All right, thank you. So, I said it's all about making people feel at home, even that's the first time they're using your application. Okay. So, let me give you this funny example. So, imagine you visit a restaurant and instead of saying, would you like to see the menu? So the waiter says, please select your consumable ingestion interface. Hey, so what will you do as a like, I'm hungry and I'm going to a restaurant and I want to eat and a waiter is coming to tell me, please select your consumable ingestion interface. I'll be like, what is going on? What happened to in fact, I will not even say anything, trust me. The way I will leave that particular restaurant like this, I will just say, oh, sorry, it was a mistake. Let me, because what do you mean by consumable ingestion interface where? Ha. Okay, so that's how users feel when your app starts speaking developer if. That's what I call it, developer if, like the language of developers, the only developers that will understand. Okay, so the rule is simple. Talk like users talk. Okay, use words they already know. If you want users to save, tell them save. If you
So
want them to can- if you want them to cancel something, tell them cancel. Don't tell them truncate. Are you sure you want to truncate? No, tell them, are you sure you want to cancel? So I also use icons that looks familiar and no fancy rocket science words unless you are building you are literally building a rocket. All right. So let's look at the item number 3. User control and freedom. So this is one of the most friendly principles in UX design: user control and freedom. So this one is super important, and because, well, we are not perfect. We humans, we are not perfect. So we can click the wrong button, and we can also select the wrong items, and we can also change our mind halfway. So basically, our brain sometimes act like they're still buffering. Okay, so let's look at user control and freedom. What's this? So system should allow users to undo and redo an action or task. Okay, and users often make mistakes while using a system or wants to change something about the system. So having a clear emergency exit give a sense of control over the system. Having an exit available to leave an unwanted action without the need to go through an extended process, or in some cases, to suffer the consequences of unwanted action with no possible returns. So imagine you want to purchase a particular thing, and what you are doing is, once you just click on purchase, what it does is it automatically withdraw money from your account. It does not even ask you, like there was no process. Immediately you enter, let's imagine you go to Udemy. You are solving for a course to enroll in. And well, you just saw a course and then maybe you are interested in seeing the content of the course. So you now click on view. You clicking on view, immediately it takes you directly to transaction. It does not even give you the freedom or the control to say, oh no, you want to go back or you don't want to. It just takes you directly to checkout. When it goes to checkout, it automatically it checks out automatically, and then debit you. So these are things we don't want to. Okay, so let's see. So give users control. So this give users control over their action with easy ways to undo and redo their mistakes. So when designing, these are things you should consider. Provide undo and redo options. So imagine you did not have undo and redo in your Google. Let's say, let's use Figma for an example. After designing for, and then you just make a small mistake, and then there was no undo. So what it meant was like just let's assume there was not even delete functionality at the same time. So what you would have done is just start all over again. So when designing, provide these options. Also include cancel and exit buttons for actions, and allowed users to navigate back easily. I have used an application that there was no back button. So, what if our phones did not provide that particular option that, oh, there's a back button on my phone, and then I can use it on an application. It can function well with an application too. Then what would have become of users? Okay, so avoid forcing users to irreversible actions, and also give clear confirmation before critical actions. Okay, so imagine you are in a shopping mall and you walk into a store thinking it's a sneaker store, but halfway in you realize it's a wedding dress shop. Now, would would you want a door to quiet exit, or B, you want to explain to five attendants why you need to leave? Why you need to leave? Because imagine after entering, there's someone who say welcome sir, and then why going inside, another person will attend to you. So you now have to be explained to the next person why you want to leave. So let me see. Which one would you want? Because me, I think I would love this explanation because it will make me think outside the box on how to explain to the first one, also to explain to the second one, to explain to the third one the reason why I want to leave. Is there anybody that wants to talk, or you can use the chat? Okay, gift says A. Goodness A too. Well, okay, so basically, obviously, it's option A that we will go with, because that's exactly what system should offer. The ability for users to easily exit or change actions without big drama. There are times that I will use an application and I think the only solution that I will have to exit that particular application is to minimize. Like I'll have to go off the application, close it, and then open it again. Because if after minimizing, I come to use the application again, it is going to take me back it's going to resume on that particular screen that I was. So what I'll have to do is to close it entirely. Well, that is too much for users. I want to exit the app. I want to exit this particular flow. Provide that option for me to exit it. That's what users want. Okay. Now let's look at this example. So what have you noticed here? What have we noticed here? Anybody? Let's look at it together. What have we noticed here? So you can do that by raise of hand. So it will be quicker. It will take time for you to type it on the chat. Take a few seconds. Look at this. Remember, giving users control. What are the controls that we've seen in this application? Uh, anybody's let's say okay, let me call name now. Abimbola. Gives before you go on. I want to hear Abimbola say something. Okay, gifts, you can go ahead. And after that, Fidelis.
Okay, from the first application, you can see that users, mainly you select your quantity, how many you want. As in this quantity now, there is nothing like reduce or add. You just go straight and pay.
On which one is that?
This all natural peanuts, this one that has smaller, I don't have anything like image on.
Okay, the image to the
Yes,
left.
yes, the first one, there's nothing like remove or add more if you want to add more. Okay, but I can see this drop down that you can actually increase it. But there's nothing like maybe if you want to remove it, there's nothing like that. And maybe when you add to cart, you go straight and buy. Or on the second one, you can see that you can see everything is well, and you can increase it by simply clicking on the add button, or remove just by removing it from the minus button, and it's easier to use compared to the other one that if you don't want to buy again, you have to like log out and start all over again. Thank you.
Uh, okay, thank you, Gift. That's your opinion. So, Fidelis.
All right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The first image, that's the first application here. Apart from the item not visible in the other one, which is supposed to be visible, I think. Then the quantity, I feel it's easier to increase or decrease the quantity on the others on the right hand application than that of the left hand. And also, I think I've noticed that there are different formats. Like in the other one, the rating is not also visible. I don't know if there is, maybe if I scroll down under the item on the other side. So, and the second application is easier to use from what I have seen. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Fidelis. Okay, Mr. Yemi, okay, Chico Carlos says users can select the quantity of the products they want to purchase. Mr. Yemi says, in both cases, we can easily decide the quantity of stuff we want and can easily change our mind to something different. Okay, uh, well, all right, Vera, go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon. Okay, so please can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so for me the second one is more, should I say easy to you can easily see the details, but the first one is looking kind of jam-packed kind of, and but then the only thing with the second one is I'm struggling to find the add to cart button. I don't know if that was intentional. So even though users can increase and decrease or increase, they can't add to cart easily. So yeah, that's my observation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Vera. So, let me. There are. Imagine putting a full screen of website or the hero page on this particular. So that was the reason why it was being short. So there should be a hard to cut. So, but the purpose of this particular example is to talk about user control and freedom. We can't hear you if you've unmuted, Mohammed.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Good evening.
Okay. From my inspection, from my usability inspection,
Okay.
GeoMart is easier to navigate in terms of increasing the number of items or the quantity, while on Prime Day, except if someone has been using a portal which has a drop-down list of where to select the number of quantities. And with this drop-down, I think there might be limitations because I believe the drop-down will not have quantity that will be listed up to, let's say, 50. But with GeoMart, this one you can keep clicking to a certain number, unlike this Prime Day. And talking about the freedom and control, GeoMart has user control and freedom over Prime Day. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. That's I've gotten more understanding from, and also we've seen it. So, but let me make a comment too. Let's look at the first frame. It is possible that the users can type the quantity they want, while you've used that particular application that a drop down it does this like two functions, or an input text that has a drop down does two functions that I can also type on that particular. But the problem is that users might not know that, oh, that they can type. Seeing just that drop down, that already tells me as a user that yes, when clicking on the drop down, I'll have to see quantity of number of quantity that I want to purchase. Then also on the GeoMart, we've seen that we can add multiple. So I can click it like, how many times would, if I want to put like 50 to, like, buy 50 product like of this, but 50 quantity of this product. So that means I'll have to click in it like 49 times. So, but where we are here is that it is also possible that users can type the quantity they want. That's how it is. I think most of the first frame here is Amazon. So most of the things when we do, or when we want to purchase things, like we always have that particular freedom to type. There is a freedom to type. There's that control of typing whatever quantity we want. And we can also see on the first frame that we can actually add this particular product to cart, and then we can also buy at that particular time. Buy now. You can buy that particular, it's a control. So instead of just adding to cart, and then from the cart, this thing, you now go to buy. So from here, let's say you just want to purchase this particular thing. So you can just buy, just click buy now, and it takes you to checkout, instead of just clicking on add to cart, and it takes you down to cart, and then you now have to, from the cart, you now purchase or proceed to checkout. So we are all in our own way, correct? Because looking at this, we've gone past the stage of just saying user control and freedom while we were looking at the example. So, but looking at in this context, so we users here have freedom and they have control over this particular flow, or whatever this thing, whatever um event they want to do when they enter this particular pro this particular website. Okay, so let's look at this example too. So we've seen this is from Google slide. So we've seen move to trash. I try to remove a particular slide. So imagine you click on remove a slide, and automatically it removes. Like, it did not tell you, are you sure? Are you sure? Move to trash. Do you really want to trash this particular slide? So And it also tells you if this file is shared, collaborators can still make a copy of it until it's permanently deleted. That's from if you delete it from the trash permanently. So that's when collaborators will not have access to it. So these are user control. Looking at the cancel and the move to trash. So it's now telling you, are you sure you want to do this? So imagine we only had move to trash. So you don't have the option to cancel it. Like I've seen some designs like that. You don't give users the ability to cancel a particular flow or a particular process that they wanted to take. All right, now let's move forward. So why is giving users control and freedom important? Why is it important? So number one, it reduces anxiety. Users feel safe trying things out because they don't know, because they know they can always change their mind. So because I know I can change my, why I was trying to create this, I just said let me get a screenshot of this particular and so I now went to remove trash. So if it was something I was not sure of that there was this kind of functionality, and then that's how I would have just lost this particular document. So because I was sure of it, that was why I had to click on it. And I changed my mind because my motive was not to actually move it to try. It was actually to get a screenshot of it for the purpose of this class. Okay, so secondly, it encourages exploration. So people are more likely to interact with your app or website when they know they can undo mistakes. Okay, and it also increases trust. Users know they are in charge and not your system. So if they are trying to purchase something, they know they can cancel the purchase at any point in time, not the system taking over the process. So now imagine the opposite. So let's say you accidentally click buy now when you are trying to purchase anything, and immediately your bank's account get charged. So your order is shipped and your phone number is is sold to 15 telemarketers. You now see this scenario now. So there was no cancel button, no undo, no escape. So that is what we call a bad UX. So that is not what it should be. Okay. So as designers, our job is to make users feel like superheroes, always in control, always able to fix mistakes. We are not designing a prison. It's only in prison that prisoners don't have options of what they do. They have a routine there and they have to follow it. So we are designing a playground where people feel free. All right. So let's look at the number 4, consistency and standards. Consistency and standard. Okay, so this is one of one of the important UX design principles. Okay, so if you get this right, if you get consistency and then standard right, users will love you. They will love you. They will love they will love you, the designer. There is this particular product I used with recently. I think workout at home. Before now, when I used that particular application, well, it was fine. Like it was well, I could use it. But in the process, when they told me to update it, while updating it, while updating um, I now saw that the onboarding was will I say beautiful? Like it was giving. Like I was enjoying the process as I was going. I was excited because I was wondering, oh, if this is what is happening when I clicked it, so what will happen when it actually go through? Okay. So when we use this, when we have this consistency and then this standard in our UX and our UI, users are going to love us. And even our products, even if it's still going to be like, okay, you are telling them it's a better version, users will be excited. Like they will be anxious of this product when the full version of it comes out. Wow, how is it going to be? All right, goodness. You want to ask a question? Yeah, goodness, can you hear me? You're saying, is it UX or UI fault? I was thinking it's a UI designer fault. Which
Yeah.
part are you talking about?
Okay, when you're talking about the bad designers, like the interface, when you don't have someone that when you don't have a good user flow of it. So I was thinking is the UI fault, not the UX.
No. When we're talking about flow, it's basically about the experience. A flow is experience, is not the UI. UI is how can I make the experience better, or how can I make it easy for users to use. Why the experience is how does this flow work? Okay, so it is the experience, not the UI. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So let's look at the fourth. So consistency reduces confusion and makes interfaces predictable. And we humans, we hate surprises. Okay. Well, I tend to be corrected at the same time. But me personally, that's some type of surprise that you surprise me, and if it is possible that I will kill you, I'll kill you. Like I'll shoot you, because imagine you surprise me let's say I was watching an horror movie and then you are doing me a surprise. What do you mean by that? My soul might leave me. So why are you surprising me? That's so humans. Well, most humans don't like surprises, but I think the ladies would say is a lie. That well, that kind that I don't categorize them under humans, so put them in another category of humans. Okay, so humans, we hate surprises. So when using application, well, I don't like to guess where am I going to. If I click here, what will happen? Like I have a motive of using this application. When I click on it, I need it to do something for me. So we don't want to relearn basic actions every time we click a button. Okay. So think of it like you are driving a car and the wheel is always in front of you. The accelerator is always on the right, okay? And the brake is always by the left. If you are driving the manual, well, you know where your clutch is going to be. And well, the brake is always on the left. So imagine a designer just came and said, Omo, they are used to this already. And you, as a user, you've been driving this car and then you've been accelerating from the right. And all of a sudden, they now put acceleration on the left and they now put brake on the right. This will cause accident. It will cost a lot. So uh, when designing, there are design considerations that you should have. So the considerations are, number one, use consistent terminology across the product and follow platform design standards. So we have Androids and then we have iPhones guidelines when designing. Okay. Now keep UI elements consistent. Your primary color should be your primary color across. Your font should be don't use 510 fonts across. Okay. Your button style should be your button style. If you are using rounded button style, use rounded. If you are using square, use square. If you are using a button without text, use it. Don't let screen A not have a different type of button, screen B have a different type of button. Your default state in screen A is different from your default state in screen B. That should not be part of your UI. So apply the same action patterns across screens and also maintain consistency across multiple products in a suite. All right. So we have so to be easy it's easy to learn and use. So to be easy to learn and use, design should adhere to both internal and external consistency. So we have two types of consistency. We have internal and we have external consistency. So they should use the same pattern everywhere inside the system, and should follow web platform and domain specific convention. So let's look at the types of consistency that we have. So types of consistency. So we have internal, we said internal consistency. We said this relates to consistency within a product or a family of products, either within a single application or across a family or suite of application. Okay. So a family of products refers to several products sold individually or as a group, produced by the same company under the same brand. So you are designing for a brand, let's say Microsoft and or Google. Let's use Google for an example. You know Google, that in Google we have Google Slide, we have Google Docs, we have Google Sheets and the likes of it. So instead of using the same brand color, you are using different brand color. So when designing for a particular brand, maintain the let it be consistent. So that's what we mean internal consistency. It has to do with the internality of the company you are designing for. So most application suites will list menu components in the same order: file, edit, and view, and so on. If you see your window explorer, that is what happens. And if you look at your Google Docs, Google Slide, and the rest, that's exactly what happened. So most of them will use consistent icons for the same function across applications and familiar layouts for dialog boxes and models. So don't try to be creative, that instead of using a pen icon for edit, you are saying no, let's not use pen. Let's try to bring a copy icon for edit. Don't do that. You will confuse users. All right. So this is what I was talking about. So we have seen, we have the first one to be our Google Docs. We have the second one to be our slide, our sheet, Google Sheet, and the one at the bottom is our Google. Well, we can say our Google. This is our Google Slide. Okay, so you can see it maintains this consistency. The first, we have home, we have insect, we have draw, we have design, we have layout, and then from there we now have where we have page layout, and then you can see that there is a consistent approach to things. So looking from the right side of it, we have share comments. In both, it is there in both products. Okay. All right. So creating a design system for your applications or family of applications can help teams maintain consistency. So personally, when I design, I make use of components. I use components because number one, let's say I'm designing a flow that has 100 screens, and then a client just come, he said, oh, no, 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 no. I've changed my mind, or the brand have decided to go with a different brand color. So does that mean, and then I still need to ship out this product by the end of today? Does it mean I'll now have to go across all my 100 screens to be changing the color? No. But when you have a design system, when you have a component, so that is where you will have consistency, and then you will just change the brand color. You just go, choose it, edit it, change the color, put the color code the client gives you, and then it will update across screens. All right. So not only would users find the system familiar and easier to use, but the team building the software will also benefit from reduced redundancy in their work. and a single source of truth of how and when to use the components. All right, so let's look at the second one, external consistency. So this refers to established convention in industry or in the web at large, beyond one application or family of applications. So I saw in the chat that someone already brought up this rule, this law of Jacob's law. Let me see who stated that. Goodness. Okay, yes. So Goodness stated the Jacob's law already. Sorry about that. Sorry. Okay. So we said that Jacob's law states that people spend most of their time on site rather than yours. It is true. That before your site even came in, other people have spent time on other places that we've used this particular application before. So which means that when they come to your application or when they come to your website, they bring the expectations from other sites. When I visit your site, I don't expect that your header should be at the bottom and your footer should now be what should be on top. Okay. So context and user types will vary on each site. So there will be still room for tailoring and adjustment. But majority of interaction should be consistent with what people expect. So I have an example here. We have Kia, and then we have this ST, we have Granger. So we've seen from these applications here or from these websites here that all of them, they are all e-commerce, okay? And all of them has the search bar on top. All of them has the search bar on top. It has user on top. Your cart is on top. Your profile, how to navigate, where after login, everything is on top. Your track is on top. Sign up is on top. So who are you that will just stand up in where I am now? They will call the coppers that are here blinking coppers. Well, I am in a military environment. So they will say blinking, oh, you blinking copper. So who are you blinking designer, upcoming designer? For you to carry header and then go to the bottom, carry footer and then come up. What are you trying to achieve? Who are you trying to impress? Okay, so we have these standards. These are what we call external standard and consistency. Your search should be on top. Your logo should be on top. Your sign up should be on top. Okay, they should be on your header and not on the body text. Apart from the fact that you now bring it call to action text and the rest of it. Well, but basically, when I have already gone through the content of your app, of your website, and I love what I see, what I'm coming there to do is just to sign up and then proceed to do what I want to do. So there should be that consistency and there should be that standard. All right. So do we have any question so far before we proceed to the next one? Oh, Mr. Yemi, so you don't like Mr. Jacobs? Okay. Oh, Mr. Yemi, please go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, please. I'm currently at work, so I will really just have to look at the video again. But I'm just trying to steal small glances at whatever we are saying. So, but this reflects back to a question I asked in the last class, talking about how much we can change or have original designs. So this is kind of this Jacobson's law is beautiful because not only do I now have a reason for why we cannot just decide to bring our original ideas. That means that obviously every design we see from every designer will just be new, and then I think it will cause confusion everywhere in the world. So I've just gotten cue from that. Yeah. But then it now also brings another question, still based on this law, Mr. Jacobs. To what extent then can we include original designs. I now understand that there should be consistency and that there is no need to create very new things. But he also said that generally context and user types will differ, but then what kind of things can then be original? What kind of things can be original? Thank you, sir.
All right, no problem. All right, let's look at this image again. We have 4 different platforms here. Is there anything apart from the fact that, well, search bar is on top? Is there anything that repeats or that looks exactly as it is? Mr. Yemi, please, you can go ahead with that question.
No. They are different, but they communicate the same thing.
Exactly. So that's
the place, the positioning, what they offer is just maybe just 1 or 2 slight differences. So that is based on the preference of the designer and maybe the users.
Thank you. So that is the originality of it. So I can decide as a designer that, well, I'm designing an e-commerce, but, well, I don't fancy this search icon. Like, I don't fancy the large input. What I want for my search is the icon alone. Okay, so when I click on the icon, it now expands and then give room for me to type. So that's my originality. Okay, so that is the originality of me as a designer. I will not just go to Kia and then look at and then this is how their input text is. Oh, look at where their search icon is, and then they're writing, what are you looking for? Well, I can now change my own to, what are you searching for? Well, now there is a camera icon here, which means I can click on it, take can capture something. Maybe from there I can also upload a picture of what I'm looking for in the same process. So that is on originality. So if you look at ST does not have that same functionality. It only has a search at the far right. Okay, so that is it. That's the originality of what it is. That's the context of the design. You are still following the standard, but you are now bringing your own concept into it. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Yen. Okay, so we proceed to okay, I was talking about the e-commerce, despite the different industry represented in the screenshot on the previous Kia, Target, ST, and Grainger, these e-commerce websites are hence to the same standard for utility navigation. A prominent search bar, easy account access, and a clear shopping cart are all displayed in a similar way. All right. Now, let's look at layers of consistency. We have layers of consistency. We have visual. So this is where the symbols or iconography and imagery used should be consistent across the site. So most times I will see designers use, they will use field icon, and they will now use outline icons. So they will now use thin line, thick line, and the rest. If you are using a field icon, use a field icon across. If you are using an outline icon, use it across your site. Don't use it. It's inconsistent. So if you are using images, make sure they are all given similar visual treatment. Don't let one be too stretched. So don't let one look as if it's hanging on the hair or whatever is happening. So for an example, the border color and weight should be consistent across all image of the product page. If your default card is gray, the outline is gray, it should be consistent in, or let's say, okay, when you hover on one, then it should give you the primary color or a thin color of any color. So, or you are using a wedge of 2 pixels. Repeat the same in all. Don't try to use to be, well, creativity and making this one too huge, this one too visible, and the rest of it. It is not consistent. So the one layer of consistency is visual. Now, another one is page and button layout. So you will likely have several different types of pages on a site. but there are components that will remain consistent across pages. I talked about button the other time. If you are using rounded button, use rounded button across. If you are using a square button, use square button across. Okay, think about the similarities and differences between pages. For an example, how does a product page differ from an order update page? Okay, there are styles and elements that you can reuse, such as heading, call to action buttons, and navigation. Okay, you are saying, okay, users should download your application here, and you are using a different design on this particular on, let's say, the home page, and on the about product page, you are using a different design. No, be consistent on your design. So I've seen persons do. I'm also a victim. I used to do this. Like I tend to use different let's say frequently asked questions. So on the home page, I can use a different design. So while looking for mood box, I'll now see another design that, oh my God. So I don't want to cancel the other one. I want to, so I now make use of this other one. No, that is wrong. So maintain your page should be consistent, and your buttons layout should also be consistent. Ensure consistency in placement of form fields and buttons, especially in multi-page forms or wizards. So questions like, will you place the call to action on the left and the cancel button on the right, or vice versa? And how will you designate fields as required? So regardless of the answers to these questions, make sure that each form on the site is designed in the same way. Okay, so don't put cancel on the left and then call to action button on the right on this particular page, and then on the other page you now put call to action on the right and then cancel on the left. So let it be consistent. All right, so we also have another layer of consistency content. So when users interact with content on various channels, they should expect a clear and familiar experience. So read across content that is presented to users on your site when designing, and compare it to what users see in marketing materials. So questions like, is there a difference in the tone of voice? If your website uses a casual tone of voice and your marketing material convey a very formal messages, users may be confused when interacting with both. Okay, now let's look at the impact of consistency. So number one impact is meeting users' expectations. So when users come to your product, they already have a certain expectation based on their past experiences with similar apps or website. So if your design matches this expectation, instantly you build trust and make them feel confident about your product. So I should not come to a particular product to use, and then I'm seeing something that looks new. We are not users don't want to learn new things. So make them feel at home. So they don't need a manual for them to use a product page. Don't give them manual. Don't say, oh, to use this particular this thing, go through this. Users don't have time for that. All right. Now lowering the learning curve. So now apply the same idea to digital products. When users visit your website, they shouldn't have to learn new patterns for basic components like notifications. You are telling me a notification, and your notification is coming from the footer, and pop-up modal is bouncing left, right, top, and bottom, and your drop-down menu I'm clicking on drop-down menu, but it's going drop-up menu, and your navigation bar is, instead of your mobile responsiveness, your navigation bar. Users mostly are used to the fact that your navigation bar should be by your I think most people use this the right hand side. Okay, so they're used to it. So don't try to bring that your navigation bar should, that when I click on it, it should pop up. instead of just being a slide from right or a slide from left, depending on which pattern you want to use. Okay, so users don't waste time, don't waste brain power on basic actions. So basic actions like this should not be things that I should come and waste time or users should come and waste time on. And also they focus on what your product offers, not on learning new things or learning new skills on how to use the internet. That's not what users want. Okay, so fighting for consistency. So one of the impacts is fighting for consistency. Here's the truth. Consistency doesn't happen automatically. So even if you have design guidelines, people can still interpret them differently, or they can forget certain details, especially for rarely used components. So sometimes designers would even think, well, our part of the product is different. We can do things our way. And that is where inconsistency starts creeping in. So prevent this, because if you fight for consistency, and users will bound not to get confused. They will not be confused. Okay, so um another one is user-centered data. So when asking users to input information such as that dates, phones, number, and location, use industry standards rather than reinventing the wheel. For an example, most sites use a calendar picker when they ask users to input dates. If users come to your site and they are presented with open field, me, I will not know, is it the month you want first? Is it the year you want first and the rest? Even though there might be tips. Okay, that's also a standard. When you are putting your input field, you want to give users that freedom to type. So instead of just putting an input field like that, let there be a label inside the field. Okay, month, you want day first, you want month first, you want the year first. Those formats. Don't let users come and then be thinking of how they want to go through it. So consistency help reduce confusions. It help build trust and allow users to focus on what really matters, and which is your product value. So item number 5, which is going to be the last for today, is error prevention. Okay, I hope we are still following. Error prevention. So this this is one of the most important and most misunderstood principle of UX. It is the most important and the most misunderstood principle of UX. So um, let's start by looking at what when we say error prevention, what do we mean? So a crucial point in discussing user errors is where to assign the blame for who to assign the blame for the error. So the term user error implies that the user is at fault or having done something wrong. That's not so. The designer is at the fault or is at fault for making it too easy for users to commit the error. So solution to users error is not to scold users or to ask them to try harder or to give them more intensive training. So the answer is to redesign the system to be less error prone. Okay, so most of the times if users make mistake, it is not because they are too dumb or they are too lazy. It's because we, the designers, we made it too easy for them to make those mistakes. So who is to blame for these errors? So you see, blaming the users is like blaming a customer at the restaurant for picking the salt. So please confirm you can still hear me. All right. Please confirm you can hear me. Sorry about that. Chidera, please give me my position back. Okay. All right. So let's continue. All right. So let's. All right. So one of the ways we can prevent errors is by, okay, let's see. We're talking of, hold on, please. So we said designers are always at fault. Okay, so we don't have to be blaming the we don't have to be blaming the users while they find a particular product hard to use. All right, so let's look at one of the ways we can actually prevent this error. What are the ways we can prevent error? So we can use clear instructions and form validations, and we can provide confirmation before critical actions, and we can disable unavailable or invalid option, and also use autocorrect or subjective input where possible, and warn users before they make irreversible actions. Okay, so we have come to almost the end of the class. Now let us do some talking. But first, please hold on. GBK, please give me back my position. Just click on your this and then return host. All right, let's critique some design. Let's look at this first design. I hope we can still hear me. Please do confirm you can still hear me. All right, thank you. Okay, so let's look at this design. What do you think is wrong on this design? Who can state what is wrong on this design? I'll mention names. Let me start by GBK. GBK. I think that's how it should go. GBK. What do you think is wrong in this design? Or is anybody that can attempt it?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, GBK.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I think it's wrong with the design from the nav link or when it is being dropped down. I think the cards are not consistent and they are too big. Like the cards are too big and the right top, it is not properly aligned. So that's what I can say.
Which of the write up?
From the right hand side, the cards there.
Okay, where we have 30 things to cook this month.
Yes, the cards are too
So,
big for that design, and the right
okay.
tabs are not properly aligned inside the card. As you can see, what's it called? The first one, 20 things you can call the first card, and the last card, the right tabs are totally different. Like they don't follow the consistency rule, and that's all. That's what I can say for now.
Okay. Anybody else? Thank you.
Yeah, so I may be wrong, but in the first part there was this this hamburger sign that is supposed to indicate a drop down or menu button, and then so this hamburger sign comes before the logo, but in the drop down itself, the logo is the first thing by the left hand side. So I think it's not consistent. I think the logo should always be, we should always know the logo to be in by the left side. So that's my own experience. I may be wrong, but that's what I've always known. So, and based on the things we've learned that they've known this thing to be here. So they should always associate it as, okay, it's supposed to be here, so not to confuse things. So that's just my observation. I may be wrong.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
Hello,
Now,
good evening.
all right. Good evening, Mohammed.
Yeah, what I observed from this design is, okay, what was on the left-hand side is exactly what is in the right-hand side. But the only difference there is, okay, clicking on the hamburger sign will bring a pop-up because I can see this close icon there. So it will extend the functionality of the site, whereby it will open more give the user more room to other services. But this flow, to me, I don't think I've encountered it before. So from what we learned today, we said we should okay, we said recognition. Sorry,
Standard.
there is one of Jacob's heuristic rule that talks something about this, whereby your flow should be what our users already know about. I don't know, Sha. That's just my idea on what's going on here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you. All right. Gifts, and then Theophilus, I saw your hand. After gifts, Theophilus, then.
Okay, thank you, sir. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, now look at the header. The header here, this all receipt header. I see that join Facebook, Twitter, Instagram logo are all at the header. I don't know if there is proper more. I'm thinking that all these icons should be at the footer, while the navbar is properly shown at the top, so that users can easily find what they are looking for. I think that is my observation. And here again, the first frame where we can say the 36 Thanksgiving whatever is, I think this write-up is bigger than the rest. I'm thinking that they should be the same size. The font should be the same size, not different from the others. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. The last person, Theophilus.
All right. In addition to all that has been said, the the design on the left is also not consistent. The text, there's a text, the text for the card there, the 36 Thanksgiving is way bigger than the other ones. Then also, the hamburger menu is like it's working in the reverse. Instead of it to link to all the menu, I can see that the design on the left has explore, and clicking the explore now brought out other menu. So I think it's supposed to be reversed. It's supposed to be the menu there, then from the menu you can explore. You can now find other sub menu, not the other way around.
All right. Thank you. You've all said what's this why the reason for the class. So let's evaluate this design. So first, now looking at let me make a comment on what was said about the bigger takes and the inconsistency. Now look at on the first frame. We have the first to be how to dry beam a turkey, and 15 best Thanksgiving potato recipe. Those type of cards are different. Now there is a type of design you would design, and you only want to display three things in the first screen, like only three things. Now, and your idea, or you don't want to use the normal vertical like an approach or horizontal, like you don't want to follow that particular approach. There's nothing wrong from you thinking outside the box. And then this design, the way he arranged it, there is nothing wrong. Because if we were to use the same font size that we are having on how to dry beam a turkey on this 36 Thanksgiving, whatever that is there, it will not come out. Like you will not see it. You will see it, but there will be no consistency. Like it will look improper. It's going to be improper. So what we were actually looking at here is someone said it. I think the second, can't remember who actually said it, but the second person said it. Your header is not supposed to be a pop-up. Users are already used to the fact that, okay, when we have pop-ups, what we expect from a pop-up is notifications, if I'm not wrong, or call to actions. You want to delete, you don't want to delete. Those are what we expect from pop-ups. I don't expect that when I click my menu, it should pop up a header. It should pop up whatever maybe footer or whatsoever. I expect that when I click on my menu icon, my hamburger icon, it should bring it should slide from either the left or the right or the top, depending on wheresoever. But users are used to the fact that it's supposed to slide from the left. Okay, it's supposed to slide from the left. So if a user is using this, I might mistakenly, or just because how fast I am in actually using the interface, I'll just click and then close the pop-up, not knowing that it is the menu I actually wanted that just popped up. Okay, so don't make buttons play musical chairs. Okay, so keep them in the same place every time. Users are used to that fact. Okay, so don't play spot the difference game with your users. They don't want to play that game. If they want it, they will go to Play Store and download the game for that. All right, I hope we got it. Now let's look at this other example. What is wrong in this example? I will just want 3 persons. So let me see your hand. What is wrong? Just take a few seconds, then look at it. What is wrong in this example? This is a different flow so that you don't get confused. A particular action is taking you to a particular one, then the first is taking you to the second is taking you to the third. So like a step by step process. So what do you think is wrong? All right, goodness, go ahead.
Okay, good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's breaking at my end.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, looking at the designs looking at the card or designs there, you see that the buttons are just the same primary button. So, and the colors are different too. Like, there's no consistency there. That's just
Okay.
it.
Mohammed, go ahead.
All right, sir. From the flow, the buttons, I think the choice of color is not the problem there, but it's not consistent. I observe from the first screen that clicking on that next is light green. Then, okay, next in the second screen is ash. I think it means probably maybe there's something. Okay, maybe there are things that the user needs to finish first before the button will become active. Then submit is the same color as next. I think there's no problem here. It's just that the color is almost the same. I think the color, it should have been
Okay.
red. Submit should have been red, I think.
Submit should have been red.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Anybody else? The last person. All right, Vera, go ahead.
Okay. So please confirm you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so for me, first of all, I think like the first speaker said, there are two primary buttons like side by side. I don't think is the best. The user might be confused which of them is primary and which of them is secondary. And aside that, the colors are not consistent. Even the next button on the first screen is, I don't know if it's my eye, but it's not accessible. Like it's not very, the white and that shade of green is not really accessible. So I think that's also speak to the second and third screens, having two primary buttons side by side, basically, and the third. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. So I had a question from what you were saying. What was the question again? I've forgotten. But all right. So let's see. Let's look at this. You've not noticed anything. Well, it was possible that where I got the image from, this or was already highlighted. As I think Mohammed said, the choice of or the color is not really the problem. And who was that person that told me that submit should have been red? How? That is a call to action button. And call to action button, the standard is it has to be your primary color. That's the standard. So it can be your primary color, but maybe if you don't want to use exact primary color code, you can actually tune it to either a deeper or a little bit lighter, things that you can play around with it. But it has to be in the family of your primary color. So red cannot even be submit. Even way to go and use red can be way to say cancel also. That's where you use, because red already is a danger. Like you're trying to tell the person, if you take that color is zone, is telling users that this is a danger zone and the rest. So red is out of here. So on the first screen and the second screen, your finish letter is where? Where the button that has finish letter is on what side of the screen?
Is at the middle.
Sorry?
Is at the middle.
Are you sure? Look at it again. So the reason why the first one does not expand. You know, when you design and you use the hawk functionality on Figma, so when you bring in another element into that particular hawk, so if it was vertical, it's going to switch vertically. If it was horizontal, it's going to expand horizontally. Now, here, the finish letter is by your right hand side. On both screen, first and second, is on your right hand side. The reason why you've seen your finished letter by the far right or by the exact right on the second screen is because you've brought in the back button. So it has now expanded to the right. Now, looking at it on the first screen, it is by the right hand side. This is not the middle. So it is by the right. And your second is by the right. Now on your third screen, where is finish letter? On your on your third screen, you can now see the finish letter is in the middle. So in as much as, oh yes, you will try to bring an argument that it is submit. Yes, it's a submit button, a call to action button that is supposed to be at the far right, so that users be like, oh yes, I'm done with it. I'm supposed to just click it. But recall that users are already used to the fact that finish letter is by the right. When I clicked on next, is on in the middle that I clicked my next when I was almost like the second to the last flow. I clicked on my next on the middle frame. So if I'm to click on or designing for my submit button, it is correct and proper that my submit button should be in the center. It is proper that my submit button should be in the center. So this is having a problem to do with inconsistency. You have to be consistent. Your finish letter is by your right, so make it also by your right. Don't interchange your buttons. Users are already used to where your finish letter button is. So that is it. Any question from there? Because I'm smelling some questions might come up from this particular example. Okay, so I'll take that as no. So now this other example, who can tell me what is wrong with this example? Sorry, the quality of the picture is poor. I apologize for that. Who can tell me what is the problem with this? Anybody? I just want 2 persons for this. All right, Vera, go ahead.
Okay. Well, what's it called? The months are not. Let me look at it again now. The months are scattered. I don't know if that really is intentional, but we are used to January, February, March down to December. Then we are seeing the months being scattered here, and also the space between month name and sales amount is very small. So yeah, it's actually very small. So these are my observations.
Okay. Theophilus, go ahead.
All right. I think for the table, there are 2 ways it could have been arranged. Either the month is arranged in ascending order from January to December, or the sales amount is arranged in ascending order from the least to the greatest, or descending order from the greatest to the least. But it didn't take any of those patterns, so it is just arranged scatteredly.
Okay. Okay. So goodness, the question was, what is wrong with this problem, with this? So that was the question. Anyways, the only thing, forget about the amount or the sales amount. If I open this, what am I interested in first? I want to look for, I'm interested in the month of January. I want to see how much I made in the month of January, how much sales I made. So, but when I opened the platform and the interface, and I'm looking for what January is. But remember that we are looking at this has to do with matching real world um, with what we have on the design. Okay, so this is matching. That I think that should be the second point. You said match system and real world. So match system and real world. So we are already used to the fact that January comes first. In the month, we have January first, followed by February. But looking at this, January is on the 5th position. February is now the Oga Kwata Kwata, and April is the Oga Kwata Kwata of them all. So users, we are used to the fact that in our calendar, that January comes first. So that is what is wrong with this example. Okay, it's not, we don't care about the amounts because it's the months that I'm interested in. I don't care about how much did I make in. So now route the amount to the month, but I'm routing the month to the amount. Okay, I hope that's okay. You understand with that. Okay, so Vera, I'm saying the what is wrong with this is that the month is not arranged as we know it. It's not arranged as users are used to. January, we know January, February, March, April. From our childhood kindergarten, we're always singing January, 30 days of September. Oh, sorry, no, not that one. January, February, March, April, May, June, and the rest of it. So if if um if if we are to look at it, it is supposed to come as per January, February, not the way August, April, and scattered around. Okay, so we have come to the end of today's class. This is just to remind you that visibility of system status, always keep your users in the loop. Don't keep them guessing. Silence isn't the key. For March, speak users their language. Use familiar metaphors. Don't speak developerish or take jargonist. Speak human, okay? And thirdly, user control and freedom. Always give users an emergency exit, and don't lock users into decisions they are assigned, like they are assigned a lifetime gym contract they can't cancel. Always allow them to say, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to go through that process. And also be consistent, be predictable in a good way. Keep terminology, layout, buttons, icons, and action consistent. Remember Jacob's law, very important. Most users spend their time on another website So if your interface feels familiar, they will feel right at home. And finally, we talked about error prevention, sorry. So don't let others fall into trap or into trap. Don't let users fall into trap. Prevent errors before they happen with clear instructions, form validations, auto suggestions, and smart defaults and forgiving format. Remember, there is no such thing as user error. It is always design error. So the big why behind all these heuristics is we design for real people, and these real people are people who are tired. There are people who are busy. They are humans. Humans should be the general word already, because we humans, we are humans. So we are distracted. So our job is not to make them feel smart. Our job is to make them succeed, whether they are trying to add or without even trying to add. Sorry, is to make them succeed without even trying to add. So, and all right, so for today, we have looked at the first five, which is the part one. We've talked about visibility, match between system, user control and freedom, consistency, and error prevention. So in our next class, we'll be looking at the last five. So do we have any question? All right, Theophilus, go ahead. Theophilus, are you speaking? Because we can't hear you. Yeah, muted. As you wait for Theophilus, gift, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. What I want to ask is the second to the last example or um the critic, second to the last one. I want to ask those buttons, is it proper? As in, don't this maybe some supposed to be like outline button and all that? I don't know why they are all the same color. I'm just asking.
Okay, wait, let me guess. They're supposed to be like the council should be an outline with an outline button, not a field button and the rest. So is that your question?
Yes, the second to the last question you brought for us to answer, that example you were showing us, that report, the one that has a report. Yeah, no, yes, this one. I want to know all these buttons like this. Is it proper or some supposed to be like outline buttons and all that? Is okay like this?
No, I would prefer your back button should be an outline button, because with this the color already is confusing to the users. Color also has something to do with it. The only color I would think I'll say they have right here is the fact that my next button is at default, because there are other required documents or other required things I'm supposed to attend to. So well, your back button, yes, that should be it should be an outline button. Your next, well, that should be a fill button. And then maybe, to me, if I were to be the designer, I wouldn't put this here. My finish later, because I won't give users this opportunity to finish a flow later, because before I brought this, that means I actually wanted the user to do it. So the finish letter, I might bring it as a text button and then hide it somewhere, because I want you to finish this process. So it's about the designer. But personally, my back button is definitely going to be an outline. My next is going to be what is going to have the field. My finish letter is going to be a text button. So it is. I won't advise this particular type of button arrangement. Yeah, the reason why we brought it out for an example was to for consistency in terms of arrangement and the rest, not in terms of the type of buttons they use. But this is the wrong approach to buttons arrangement. So I hope that answers your question. gift.
Yes, thank you, sir.
All right. Theophilus, you raised your hand. Are you still on the call? If not, think that should be the end, right? Any other question? So and thank you very much. Please do submit your tax. Some persons are still left without submission of tax. Please do well to submit your tax on time. And do have a wonderful night rest. Thank you.